Hey YouTube, it's TechSupportGoneBad, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make your own music MySpace layout. Some of you might call it a band MySpace or an artist MySpace, but they're all the same thing, they're all made the same way, and they all use the same code, so they're music MySpace layouts. If you don't have a music MySpace layout, if you have a normal MySpace, then you're in the wrong place. I have a separate tutorial for that, so I'll put that link in the video description. But if you do have a music MySpace, then you're in the right place, so just keep watching the video. Before I get started on the video, I want to let you guys know that in this video, before you sit here for over 30 minutes and watch it, in this video, I'm going to be just barely touching on the design part of the MySpace layout. I'll show you guys how to make a simple design and then put it all together and put it on your MySpace. I'm not going to sit here and take even more time than I really need to show you guys in detail how to make the design and how to do all of that stuff and then put it together and put it on your MySpace. I'm just gonna just skim that design subject a little and then take the design that we make in this video, put it together, and put it on your MySpace. So you do need some designing talent and skill to be able to make your own music MySpace layout. So you need your own creativity and stuff. If you want to follow the design that I make in this video, sure, go ahead and do that, but it is a very simple design and it won't look as good because a lot of people are going to be using it after this video. Also, what you're also going to need is some coding knowledge. You need to be able to pick apart HTML code and CSS code, so you could mess with the code that I provide you guys with a little bit, so you could get your own desired effect for your MySpace layout. And with all of that being said, the first thing you want to do to get started is head over to the video description, click on the link to download the music MySpace layout package. This just makes everything a lot easier on you guys. I made it on my own for you guys, and it's basically just a folder, and in that folder you have help and links, the MySpace CSS code that you're going to need, and the PSD files for the layout. Once you're done downloading that, you also want to make a new folder for your music MySpace layout. A lot of stuff is going to be going in this folder, so you need to keep everything organized, so make a folder just for your music MySpace layout. And I have my folder over here, TSGB Music MySpace, and within that folder I have a vector image that I want to use for my banner on my MySpace. So put any images and stuff that you want to use for your MySpace in that folder to keep everything organized. So with that being said, let's head over to Photoshop. Now, I'm using Photoshop in this tutorial. You could use whatever image editor that you want, but make sure it's a good one because obviously you want your MySpace to look nice. And also, I recommend either Photoshop or GIMP because they open up PSD files, or they have the ability to open up .psd files. And the reason you need to be able to do that is because within the music MySpace layout package, I have the PSD files for all of the images that you need, and you're gonna need to open these up in Photoshop or in whatever image editor so you could edit it to your liking. So I recommend Photoshop. It is not a free program, but I'll put a link in the video description for a 30-day free trial of Photoshop. Or if you want a completely free program, you could try using GIMP or GIMP, however you want to pronounce that. I'll put that link in the video description too. That could also open up PSD files. So with all of that being said, let me show you guys what we're making today. Let me head over to MySpace and let's check out the profile. Let it load for a second. And this is what we're going to be making today. We have a nice banner image. Under the image, we have message, comment, ad, pics, and website. All of these links work. For example, if I click on the message link, it opens up and you could message me. And then we have a nice background. Scrolls when we scroll down. We have a nice title, TSGB Music MySpace, and then a contact table right there. So that's pretty much what we're going to be making today. As simple as it looks, it does take a lot to make, and it's going to take a lot for you to make it your first couple times, but once you get the hang of it, it should go by pretty fast. So let's head over to Photoshop and let's get started with the easiest thing. Actually, go to your music MySpace layout package folder and open up, or go to the PSD files for the layout within that folder, and then open up the MySpace name. Just double click on that PSD file and we could open that up and start editing that to our liking. Once you have that open, it should look something like this. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this that says name image tsgb.tv. That's just so you know that it's mine. And I'm going to unlock the background layer by double clicking on it and pressing OK. And I'm going to fill it in with black because this is going to go in the center of your MySpace and the center of the MySpace is black. And then I'm going to choose the text tool and just type in TSGB Music MySpace. And then I'm going to make this much bigger. Control T to just select it like that, and then I'm just going to drag it, make it bigger. And then once I have that centered, I'm going to go ahead and add a purple gradient to the text. I'm basing my MySpace off of the color purple, so I'm going to keep everything, off of the colors purple and black. So I'm going to keep everything purple and black. You don't want to change the colors too much and make it like one's purple, one's pink, and blue, green, whatever. You don't want to just change it around too much. You want to stick to one type of thing, and you want to make everything more or less match with each other. So I apply that purple gradient and press OK. And we are done with the first image, the name image. Now, this is the simplest step. Go to File, Save As, and let's save this name image. I'm going to save it within my folder that I made for my MySpace layout. Let's head over to my document and TSGB Music MySpace, and let's save that in there as a JPEG file. Press Save, and then press OK. Now I could go ahead and close that. You might want to save your PSD file just in case you want to go back to it and edit it, but since this is just for a tutorial, I'm going to not save that. Next up, let's go head back to the PSD files for the layout, and let's open up the MySpace background PSD file. This is the second simplest image. Now, again, I'm going to delete the thing that says MySpace background tsgb.tv, and then I'm going to double click on the background layer and apply a purple gradient. The same purple gradient that I used for the text in my name image. So gradient overlay, and let's select the gradient. Press OK. OK. And now what I'm going to do is just apply a brush. Different people call this brush a different thing. It's known as a sunburst brush or a rising sun brush or whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to go ahead and use that. It looks something like this. And I'll put the link to this brush in the video description if you guys want to use the same brush. I'm going to select this purple color and use the brush right in the middle of the background. And then I'm going to lower the opacity to about 50%. And then go to File, Save As, and then just save this in our folder that we made for our MySpace layout. And press OK, or press Save. And then let's press OK to that. Really quick tip for the background for the MySpace layout. You could resize this to any size that you want. Just for the height though. Don't mess with the width. The width needs to stay what it is right now, which is 1,600 pixels. But for the height, you could change that to whatever you want, so it could match your MySpace layout. So if your MySpace is maybe a little longer, you could change the height to make it longer to fit your MySpace. And which leads me to another thing. You don't want to make your MySpace background too designy and too detailed and stuff. You don't want to just overthrow it with a bunch of pictures and designs, because all of that is supposed to go on the banner. The background is supposed to be simple, and it's just supposed to match the rest of the MySpace layout. So you don't want to overrun it with different designs and stuff, because the background image is already huge. This is 1,600 by 2,000 pixels, and you might even need to make it longer if you have a long MySpace layout. So it's already a huge image, and it already takes up a lot of space. So the more megabytes of space it takes up, the longer it's going to take to load. So the more designs you have, the bigger the file size is going to be, and the longer it's going to take to load. And it gets to the point where someone goes to your MySpace and they have to wait for your background to load before they could enjoy the MySpace. And obviously, you don't want that to happen. So just keep the MySpace background simple. And with that being said, let me just close this and let's head to the contact table. So actually, just go to the PSD files and double click on the contact table PSD. And then again, I'm going to delete this contact table tsgb.tv thing. And as you can see here for the contact table, I actually have a the the default contact table for MySpace. So this is an image for the default contact table, and if you hide that, you see that there's a black background. And this image is just basically here, so you could use it as a guide. So just go ahead, choose your text tool, and just use it as a guide. Wherever it says the words, put those words. For example, send message, type in send message. Or you could type whatever you want. The only thing you can't do is move the things. They have to be in that same place. So for send message, I'm just going to type message, but I have to keep it in that same place because that's where MySpace puts the default link. And then just go ahead and do all of the rest. For example, add, and then align that. I'm just gonna do this really quick, but you obviously want to take more time to do this so it doesn't look all sloppy and crooked and stuff. And you don't even have to put all of them. You could just put whichever ones you want, really. But you make sure you have to keep them in the same place. You can't just invent your own places for them. For example, the last couple ones, add to favorites, block user, and rank user. No one really uses those. So you could go ahead and not put those if you want. But I'm just going to put those just because it evens the MySpace layout out. Or the contact table of the MySpace layout out. And 2 more to go. Feel free to design this as well as you want. You don't really need to just put a black background with the words. You could design it, put your own picture on the back of it, do whatever you want with it, really. I'm just making it really simple for the purpose of this tutorial. And I'm done with all the words. Now at the top, I'm just going to type in contact TSGB. It's not really necessary, but it adds its own special thing. And then the last thing you want to do before you save it is get rid of that contact table. You don't want that to show, obviously, because you want to have your own contact table. And then just go to File, Save As, and then save this contact table. Make sure to save everything in that folder that we made. As a JPEG, save, and press OK. Now let's close this and let's head to the banner. The first thing I'm going to do is open up a vector image that I want to use for the banner. It's the vector image I showed you guys in the beginning of this video. And then I'm going to open up the PSD file for the banner. For the PSD file for the banner, you could change it to whatever size you want height-wise, but you don't want to change the width. Same as the background for the MySpace layout. You don't want to change the width, but you could change the height to whatever you want. And actually, I'm going to be changing the height in this video. But again, you don't want to change the width because that width needs to stay. And then I'm just going to resize this vector image to fit the banner. 825 width. And then I'm just going to drag this into the banner. So that fits nicely. And as you can see, now we have this huge chunk left. And obviously I don't want that, so I'm going to be resizing the height right after I add the buttons for message and all that stuff. For the background, I'm going to paint that black, and then I'm just going to choose the text tool and type in the words message, add, and all that. Text tool. And let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay. Message, comment, add, pics, and website. Why not? And then let's choose the pointer tool and bring that in. And now I'm going to choose the rectangular marquee tool right under the pointer tool and just select the part of the banner that I need, which is up to around right here. And then click on image, crop. And now what that does is just it crops the image to the point that I need it. So I got rid of the rest of that and which changed the height, but it didn't change the width, which is good. Now, the MySpace banner is a little bit different. There's a reason why I did this last, because it's the hardest thing to do. You don't just save the image. What you need to do is choose a slice tool. Now, this is where I don't know if GIMP has this. Obviously, Photoshop has it, but I don't know if GIMP has it. If GIMP doesn't have this, then feel free to just save your banner as an image. The only thing that you're not going to be able to do is use these buttons. You could just save your image, your banner as an image, and then you could have a banner image without any buttons. You could do that in GIMP, or you could just download the trial of Photoshop and do this for the banner so you could make these buttons work. So choose a slice tool right here. You don't want to choose a slice select tool. You want to choose a slice tool. If you're on the slice select tool, just click and hold and choose a slice tool. Once you have that done, just select the parts of the banner that you need to use. For example, I'm going to highlight the top area of the banner, which has the image. And once I highlighted that, I'm going to double click in there, change the name to banner, and the URL to my website. You want to do http:// and then your website, octogfx.com, which is my website. You don't want to do www.whatever.com or .net or whatever, because that won't work. You want to do http:// and then the link to your website or whatever. And then the target, leave this blank if you want that to open up in the same page when someone clicks it, or change it to _blank if you want it to open up in a new tab or a new window. And press OK. And actually, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and zoom in so you guys can actually see that I'm selecting it. And then let's select the other stuff. So let's highlight message, and that's what we'll start with. And then double click on that image. Change the name to message so we know what it is. This will come in handy later. And now for the URL, just go to your MySpace layout. And then just go to your profile and just press message. Scroll down, click the contact table. And now we have the link to message you on MySpace. So copy this link right here. And then head back to Photoshop and paste that into the URL. And the target, I want to make that open up in a new tab too, because I don't want people leaving my MySpace. And press OK. Next, comment, same process, just go to your comment and click on add comment, get that link. Same with add, same with pics, and for your website, just type in your website URL. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to add these links because obviously it's going to take a while, but I'm going to double click in the comment and add in pics and all that and just change the name so I know what it is. As I said, this will come in handy later. Obviously, you're going to be changing the name anyways because you want to actually add the URLs. But since I'm not doing that, I'm at least going to take the time to put in the name so I know what I'm dealing with later when I'm looking at its code. Pics, and then last one, website. Now, once you're done doing that, obviously you don't want to just go to File, Save As, and save it as a normal image. We didn't just do this to save it as a normal image. Go to File, and click on Save for Web and Devices. Now, what this is going to do is save it as an HTML file. So this is going to pop up. And then just press Save. And make sure your Save As type is HTML and images. And then save it in that folder that we made for your MySpace layout. And press Save. Depending on how big your image is, it should take a while or not. Mine took really fast. And you're pretty much done with all of the designing aspect of it. Now let's head into the folder that we made for our MySpace layout. And let's take a look at what we have. We have a contact table, a name, a background, and a banner code. So now what you want to do is go to that the Music MySpace Layout package and get the CSS code for it. So head into that folder, MySpace Music Code, double click on that text document, and just get that code. Copy it, head over to your MySpace, and this is where you want to be careful. Don't click on Edit Profile, click on Safe Mode. Edit Profile will mess you up later on. Click on Safe Mode, and then click Edit for your bio section. Musician bio section, same thing. And then I'm just going to delete this code because that's what I had up right now and paste the new one. And now let's go ahead and go through this code one by one. The first thing that I want is a background image. So you want to go to your favorite image hosting website. Now be careful when it comes to this image hosting website because I made a tutorial for a normal MySpace layout a while back and a lot of people got messed up on this step because I didn't really make it clear in the video. If you use a website like TinyPic or PhotoBucket, they will resize your image. especially your background image, because that's a huge image. They'll resize it, make it smaller, and then when you put it on your MySpace, you'll be doing everything right, but your background image will look really small, and you won't know why. But really, it's just because your image hoster made it smaller just so they could save some space. So I recommend using octopic.com. That's octopic.com. This is actually my image hosting website. I set the max to 1 gigabyte per image file. That's a lot considering most image websites have like 20 megabytes for a file, which is like a fraction of a gigabyte. And I also have a lot of different file types that you could upload, and I don't resize your images at all, which is really good when it comes to making a MySpace layout. So just click Browse, head over to your folder, and just upload that. As I said, we're going to start with the background because that's the first thing that pops up in the code. And just get the direct link to it, head over to the code, and it says background image goes here, and that's all in capital. Just delete the words background image goes here. Don't delete anything else like the parentheses. Delete the words and paste in that URL. Now, some things that you might want to do to mess with the code is change the background color. This isn't really necessary since we're covering up the whole thing with the background image, but just in case, you might want to change the color. It's set to 00000, which is the hex code for black, so you could change that if you want. And actually, that leads me to another thing. I have a website, a really good website that you guys should check out. It's called colorschemer.com. I'll put that link to the website in the video description. This is where you could get all of your hex codes from. For example, let's say I wanted a blue background. I could just click on the blue color and just copy this hex code right here and then paste it in over here instead of the default 00000, which is black. So I could do that if I want, and again, that link will be in the video description. And then you're going to want to keep everything the same. Background position top center, background repeat yes, and the background attachment scroll, which means it scrolls when you scroll down, your background also scrolls. Next up, you're going to find 4 chunks of coding that have to do with the text on your MySpace. The next 4 colors that you see are going to be FFF, 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 8E1212, and FFF, FFF. These are just, as you could just look at the code and tell what they do. For example, body, div, strong, dot text, dot black text, 10 and dot black text 12, that changes it all to this color. So whatever is in your body of your MySpace, whatever's in a div of your MySpace, whatever is in black text on your MySpace gets changed to this color, which in default is set to FFF, which is white. And then the next chunk of coding, it has to deal with the orange text, the light blue text, the white text, and the name text, and the red text. And that could changes it also to white. And again, you could change it to whatever color you want. The next chunk of code has to do with the links. The default is set to red, a red color for links. And then the next chunk of code has to do with when you hover over links, or when you hover over the links in your navigation bar, it changes it to this color, which is also set to white. So you could change those to match whatever text color you want on your MySpace. So next up, just scroll down a little bit more, and you'll find your contact table. So you want to go to octopic.com and upload your contact table. Press upload, and then you're going to need to get the direct link to that, and then head over to your MySpace, and then just replace the words contact table image goes here with the link. Don't replace anything else like the quotation marks or the parentheses, just the words, and then paste that link. You won't need to mess with anything else. And then scroll down a little bit more, you'll find your name image. Head over to Octopic, upload that name image, and do the same thing. For the name image, if you have the width and the height set to something else for the name image, you could change that. Let me show you guys really quick. Paste that in, and then over here it says the width is set to 300 pixels and the height is set to 30 pixels. That is matching the what I have right now set for the PSD files. So if you're using my templates, then it's already going to be 300 pixels and 30 pixels. So you're set for there. But if you change the image size for the name image, you could just change the width and the height right there. And then scroll down. Now this is the hardest part, is the banner. Now what you want to do is head over to the folder that you made for your MySpace layout. So let's go there. Now you're going to find an HTML file for your banner. You want to right click on that, click on open with, and open it with something like WordPad or Notepad. And it's going to give you a code. Now you want to look at the code and find the thing that says table. The first word that you see that says table, and copy it all the way down to the second word that you see that says table. There's only going to be 2 words that say table in this code. You want to go from the first one to the second one and copy all of that code. And then head over to your MySpace, and then if you scroll all the way down, this is where your banner code is. It says paste banner code here, replace those words with that code that you just copied. Now we have quite a bit of work to do for the banner. We need to replace all of the links for the images with the links from Octopic. So right now, the links that it has on the images is based on the files that we have on our computer. For example, the image source for the banner is right here, images/banner.png. If you head over to that folder that we made for the MySpace layout, you'll see that there's a new folder called images. And within that images folder, we have all of the files that we need for the MySpace banner. And as you can see, we have banner.png right there. So it's leading it to that. But obviously, someone else can't access your computer to see that image, so you have to replace that code with a code from your favorite image hosting website or octopic.com. So now we're going to do that one by one. The first thing it's asking us for is for the banner image, and as I said, we want to rename everything so we know what it is. So as you see, it's asking us for banner.png, so we're going to head over to Octopic and upload banner.png. And press upload. Get the direct link, and then just replace it with the words images/banner.png, and that's pretty much it. You want to go through and do that for all of them. So the next one is images/MySpace banner_02.png, so we're going to replace that. And this can be a long process depending on how complicated your banner is, but mine is pretty simple, so it shouldn't take too long, just a couple links that I need to replace. Next up is messaging, or message. And as you can see, this is why we needed to name the things, because if we didn't name it, then it would be images/random wording or whatever. But as you can see, it's images/message.png, which is why we named it, so we know where it is. And I forgot to see the second one, comment. So let's do that. Upload, direct link, and paste that in there. Next up is add. So let's upload that. Almost done, just a couple more. And this is on the simple side, so if you guys are going to make like a really complicated banner, it does get a lot more complicated than this. And website. And that is the last one. So let's paste that in there. And at this point, we are almost done with our MySpace layout. You might be done if you followed exactly what I said, but if you change the height of the banner and change some stuff around, you might not be done yet. So let's click preview and check it out and see what is going on. You might your banner might be a little off. You might need to mess with the code here and there, but I'm pretty sure this should be fine as it is. Okay, guess not. Our banner is a little bit off, so which is actually a good thing because now I get to show you guys how to change that. But let's see. Our banner is a little off. Our background is doing fine. Our name image is doing fine, and our contact table is doing fine. So now all we need to change is our banner. So as you can see, it's a little to the right side. So there's a simple way to fix this. Just head back to editing your musician bio. Scroll all the way down to the banner code. And there's a chunk of coding right above that area where you pasted that code that you got from Photoshop. There's a couple things that you could change. You could change the width of the banner, which is 825 pixels, which is what it should be. The margin top of the banner is the height of the banner. So right here, it's set to 680 because that's what my banner is right now. And so that's the height, that's the width, and one thing that's messing up my banner right now is the margin left. It's set to 400 pixels, so let's change it to 415. And press preview, press submit, and that just tells the banner how far left to go. So it was set to 400 pixels, and now it's a little too far left. So let's change that, and let's see what happens. Maybe 405. Preview, submit, and let's refresh this page. And okay, 403 maybe. It was just like 3 pixels off apparently. Preview, submit. And this is what it takes. You just go to your Myspace, look at the problems, head back to your code, and just change it to fix your problems and match your needs. So that's it. We are pretty much done with the Myspace layout. We edited everything in the code to make it match what we wanted, and we are done. We have the banner right here with the buttons, message, comment, add, pics, website. To prove that these work, remember I assigned my main picture to go to my website, octogfx.com. So let's click that. And as you can see, it opens up in a new tab as I told it to, and it opens up octogfx.com. So let's close that. So the banner is working fine, the background image looks fine, and it scrolls as you scroll. The name image looks fine, and the contact table looks fine. So we are done. At this point, there's one more thing for you left to do. Head back into your Myspace, click edit profile, and in your bio, type in "Thank you, TechSupportGoneBad, for helping me to make my first Myspace music layout," or music Myspace layout. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. One more thing, click edit, and this is just to let you guys know where you're supposed to type your actual info. Just press enter a couple times, and you'll open up some space before the code, and then you could just type all of your stuff in here. So you don't need to mess with the code, and you don't need to worry to be afraid to put any stuff. As long as it's a couple lines before the code, you could go ahead and type it, and it'll show up in your bio section or about me section, whatever you want to call it. But that's it for this tutorial. We are finally done with our first music Myspace layout, and thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope I didn't lose you too bad, and I hope it wasn't too hard for you guys to figure this out. It took a long time the first time, but once you get the hang of it, it doesn't really take that long. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please check out my YouTube channel, tsgb.tv. And also, if you guys enjoyed it, please check out my website, octogfx.com, for more graphic designing tutorials and inspiration and stuff like that. That's it for this video. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.